Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agumofwegbe, reminding our viewers that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Our sincere apologies for bringing the news behind schedule. It was occasioned by technical problems which have now been resolved. As always, we appreciate your understanding. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has lauded President Bola Tinubu for promptly approving the release of funds for constituency projects nominated by lawmakers across the country. Akpabio said the prompt approval and release of funds to the various contractors handling projects in the constituencies has made it possible for lawmakers to have something to take home to their constituents. Topsy Gimba has details.
Senator Akpabio said the prompt approval and release of funds to the various contractors handling projects in the constituencies has made it possible for the lawmakers to have something to take home to their constituents. The Senate President, who was represented by his wife, Unorma Godswill Akpabio, at the various commissioning sites, thanked the people of their support for him and the party in 2023. He urged them to continue to stand by the party and President Bola Tinubu, as well as replicate same for all APC candidates in 2027.
I would like to thank the President of this great nation for making it possible for National Assembly members to attract projects to their various constituencies. We can't take it for granted. May God continue to keep him, protect him as he serves this country.
Speaking at the ceremony, member representing Ikono Inni Federal Constituency, Emmanuel Okwang Udo, thanked the Senate President for citing the 8 classroom block in his constituency, assuring him of the total support of the people of the Ikeno and Ene local government councils to the party and all its candidates in 2027.
All these projects wouldn't have been possible if through the National Assembly support given by Dr. Godswill Akpabio to the President, who has agreed to allow us have this constituency project and fund it, not just to give, but to fund it. As I was speaking with Iboro in the car, in their time, they never used to even fund. But through the President and the Senate President, we have gotten something to bring back home. May God bless in Jesus' name.
Earlier, Senator Akpabio had commissioned some similar constituency projects in Oruk, Annam local government area, which also witnessed a massive turnout of constituents to welcome the senator and his entourage. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
The Department of State Services, DSS, has filed charges before Federal High Court in Abuja against 9 persons accused of deadly attacks on Benue and Plateau states. The charges were filed over the killings in Yelwata, Guma local government area of Benue State, as well as in parts of Plateau State, which left over 40 persons dead, many others injured, and hundreds displaced in both states. The charge sheet indicates that one Haruna Adamu, Mohammed Abdullahi of our local government area in Nasarawa State, and others still at large had, on June 13, 2025, allegedly carried out attacks against the people of Abinsi and Yelwata villages. President Bola Tinubu's special advisor on policy and coordination, as well as head of the Central Delivery Coordination Unit, Hadiza Bala Usman, has called for an end to the deployment of policemen as personal guards to very important personalities. Speaking in Abuja during the Ministry of Interior's performance retreat, the presidential aide insisted that the elite protection should no longer come at the expense of national security. Bala Usman expressed concern over the diversion of police officers and specialized squads from their security agencies from critical security assignments to VIP escorts duties. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has urged Nigerian Army personnel to sustain the knowledge of indigenous languages acquired during training, describing it as a critical tool for intelligence gathering. Oluyede gave the charge in Abuja at the graduation of the Indigenous Languages Course 7 2025. held at the Nigerian Army Resource Center in Abuja. The Nigeria Labour Congress has called on the federal and other state governments to emulate Imo State in implementing the 104,000 naira minimum wage for workers in the country. President of the Congress, Joe Ajaero, made the call in an interview on the sideline of the National Union of Civil Engineering, Construction, Furniture and Woodworkers 7th National Quadrennial Delegates Conference in the nation's capital, Abuja. Frontline politician and one-time presidential candidate Sarah Jibril has called on Nigerian politicians to imbibe the virtues of ethics and values in their politicking. Speaking on Global Television's program, Big Talk, Dr. Jibril urged aspiring leaders to cultivate good character in order to deliver impact-driven leadership. Obang Usoro completes the report.
Sarah Jibril, widely regarded as the matriarch of women in Nigerian politics, has remained consistent in a call for value-driven leadership. In 1992, she contested the presidential primaries of the Social Democratic Party, where she was the only female among over 20 aspirants. She later vied for the presidential ticket of the People's Democratic Party, with her persistence inspiring many women to begin taking part in active politics at a time when female participation was extremely low.
Luring the women with bribery, with all sorts of goodies and fake promises, etc. And because the politicians are influencing the parents.
Beyond politics, Dr. Jibril stated that she also inspires the next generation of leaders as an educationist, a trained psychologist, and has served the nation in various capacities, including special advisor to former President Goodluck Jonathan on ethics and values.
We have the Constitution, and it said, "Thou shalt not tell lies, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not cheat. You must respect. Yeah? You must have the fear of the Almighty God that created heaven and earth and yourself living. Respect for your life. And since you don't know what to do with yourself, when you don't die, finish, where are you going?" People should start to think.
As the first woman to break barriers in Nigeria's presidential race, Sarah Jibril remains a strong voice for ethical leadership, with her message being a reminder that values and integrity must remain central in public service. Obong Osoro, reporting for Global Television.
Well, thank you, Obang. Anambra State government has banned the practice of writing assignments inside textbooks, describing it as wasteful and unsustainable. The ban is said to be aimed at making textbooks reusable, especially for younger siblings of pupils who would not need them when they advance to the next class. A statement released by the State Ministry of Education says the State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chuma-Ude, was quoted as announcing the ban while addressing participants at the third day of a capacity building workshop organized by the Ministry for Private School Proprietors and Teachers at St. John of God Secondary School in Awka, the state capital. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Polytechnics have issued a fresh 21-day ultimatum to the federal government to address all lingering issues with workers or risk a nationwide industrial action. The 21-day ultimatum, which began on August 27, 2025, was contained in a communique issued at the end of the association's 77th General Executive Council meeting held at the Audu Bako College of Agriculture, Dambata in Kano State. The Polytechnic workers demanded the release of the new scheme of service, constitution of the renegotiation of 2010 Agreement Committee, payment of all old arrears, and the release of the 2023, 2024, and 2025 needs assessment funds. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When the rest of the news returns, National Sports Commission endorses former Female Athletes Association for Sports Board. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories for you on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. Thank you so very much for staying with us, everyone. The second part of this news bulletin now returns with business. The National Economic Council has approved the Renewed Hope Development Plan 2026 to 2030, designed to fast-track Nigeria's targets of attaining a $1 trillion economy. The decision was reached at the 151st meeting of the Council, presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. We'll bring you details of that story later. Ethiopia's government and Nigerian Dangote Group have signed a $2.5 billion deal to build a large-scale fertilizer production plant in Gode, southeast Ethiopia. President of the Nigerian conglomerate Aliko Dangote says it will be second largest plant of urea in the world.
Under the agreement signed in Addis Ababa, Dangote will own 60% of the facility, while the remaining 40% will be held by the state-owned Ethiopian Investment Holdings. The project, estimated at $2.5 billion, will be located in Ethiopia's eastern Somali region.
It's going to be second largest plant of urea in the world. Compared to our own in Nigeria, the same size. So this is very, very historic, and it is by far even more than what Ethiopia is consuming. But by the time it is ready, I know agriculture is being propelled in Ethiopia on a massive level.
Chief Executive Officer of Ethiopia Investment Holdings, Brooke Taye, expressed optimism on the project and what it means for the country's agricultural sector.
Annually, as we speak, we spend on urea-related fertilizer close to $500 million a year. And you can only imagine the difficulty when there is issue around geopolitics, when there is issue around commodity price increase, and at certain point it becomes not a matter of price but a matter of availability. We've seen it during COVID, we've seen it during the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
The World Bank's data indicates that agriculture accounts for more than 1/3 of Ethiopia's GDP. However, the country spends about $1 billion annually importing fertilizers. Uyi Agumofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, has alleged that the company is under attack from forces opposed to its ongoing transformation efforts. Ojulari disclosed these while hosting the leadership of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria in Abuja. He stated that change comes with a price, noting that the management of the company will not succumb to pressure from individuals seeking to derail reforms aimed at repositioning the company for the benefit of Nigerians. Let's go to the foreign scene now, where the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has warned that unless urgent action is taken, 420,000 children could die of the 3.5 million currently battling severe acute malnutrition in Nigeria. Nigeria country representative of the UN agency, Wafaa Abdulatif, said Nigeria has 15 million malnourished children under 5 and 3.5 million at risk of severe acute malnutrition. She warned during her visit to Maiduguri field office that of the 3.5 at risk of severe acute malnutrition, 420,000 children could die in 2025 alone if nothing changes for the better. Australian police have told an on-the-run gunman accused of killing 2 officers to lay down firearms. The heavily armed 56-year-old suspect, Daisy Freeman, fled into the bush on Tuesday after opening fire on a team of 10 police officers at his home in the northeast of Victoria State. The horrific shooting in the rural town killed 59-year-old Detective Neil Thompson and 35-year-old Senior Constable Vadim Dewart. And now time to take a look at sports for you. The National Sports Commission has formally recognized the Association of Former Female Athletes of Nigeria as a stakeholder in the governance of national sports federations. The move aligns with the International Olympic Committee's agenda of enhancing women's participation in sports leadership. National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Diko and Director General Bukola Olakbade said the decision reflects Nigeria's commitment to gender inclusion in sports administration. The 9th edition of the National Youth Games begins in Asaba, Delta State capital, today, with Team Lagos aiming to set the pace with their 416 athletes contingent. Following the conclusion of the digital registration management process, a total of 6,382 athletes have been confirmed by the National Sports Commission to represent all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Screening of athletes had already taken place. The cautious optimism that Manchester United took into the new season after marquee summer signings has evaporated even before the end of August, and once again, manager Ruben Amorim finds himself under an intense spotlight. 1 point from their opening 2 Premier League games means that since taking over from Erik ten Hag, the Portuguese coach has earned 28 points from 29 top-flight matches in charge. We now end Global TV News Express with a look at some of our big stories. The Department of State Services, DSS, has filed charges before the Federal High Court in Abuja against 9 persons accused of deadly attacks on Benue and Plateau states. In business, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, says the company is under attack from forces opposed to his foregoing transformation efforts. On the foreign scene, United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has warned that unless urgent action is taken, 420,000 children could die out of the 3.5 million currently battling severe acute malnutrition in the country. And finally, in sports, the cautious optimism that Manchester United took into the new season after marquee summer signings has evaporated even before the end of August. And that's all on News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. As always, we urge you to subscribe and engage with us across social media platforms using @Global TV NG as well as other handles on your screen. I'm Muyi Agumofwegbe, thanking you very specially for watching. I will see you again.